Northern Territory Senator Jacinta Price. Jacinta, Peter Dutton tonight has lost his seat. With your embrace of Donald Trump, Make Australia Great Again, are you part of the reason for that loss?
Oh, that's a big call, don't you think? I mean, you sling enough mud in an election, it sticks. And we did see a Prime Minister who absolutely misled the Australian people all the way through and was rarely called out for his conduct. And I think that's absolutely deceitful.
But Jacinta, let's just talk about this. Let's just talk about this seriously. At a time when Donald Trump was sending shockwaves around the world,
I'm talking about it seriously.
It's not a smear campaign. I just want I want you to address it seriously, Jacinta. At the time that Donald Trump was sending shockwaves around the world, disturbing.
So if you don't think that I'm addressing this seriously, I am addressing this deadly seriously, in that if you sling enough mud, it will stick. And absolutely, Labor, certainly the media, slung enough mud in terms of this particular issue. You made it all about Donald Trump. We really couldn't care less about the way Donald Trump is governing for America. We were concerned with the way Australia's being governed under an Albanese government.
But Jacinta Price, we all saw you.
The situation's not going to get any better going forward. It's not going to get any better.
Let's just talk about this sensibly, Jacinta. We saw you wearing a Make Australia Great Again hat at a time when Donald Trump was poison to the world. We saw you give a speech in which you used a Donald Trump value statement to make Australia great again. So can I come back to the question? Are you partly responsible for what the Liberal Party has suffered tonight and Peter Dutton's loss of his seat?
Let me come back to the question. That's a whole lot of mud you just slung right there, can I just say, in terms of wanting this country to be great. Donald Trump doesn't own those 4 words, right? Because the media can go through your personal Facebook photos and find a picture that was taken in jest at Christmas time and then smear you with it. That is the problem. That is the issue. That is the smearing that goes on, certainly within the media, just as you're trying to say, take this seriously. I'm deadly serious about this issue. And what I'm deadly serious about is that here in Lingiari, Aboriginal people are going to continue to be marginalised. The gap is going to get wider because we take an ideological approach to all of these issues, and Labor will continue to do that. They'll invest money in organisations and not listen to the little people on the ground. But I'll continue to fight for those people who actually want to be heard, those forgotten people where Labor, and you know, if you want to take things seriously, perhaps send an investigative journalist out and watch what occurs in remote polling booths. The AEC has been alerted to this over and over and do very little to deal with that situation. I urge the ABC, as a taxpayer-funded organisation, to go out to remote communities and see for yourself exactly what occurs, because I'm deadly serious about the situation. And if you think things are bad right now in terms of the cost of living, it's only going to get worse going forward. But what I do know is that if you sling enough mud in a campaign, it sticks. And if you mislead the Australian people over again, that's what the Prime Minister has done. That's what sticks. I mean, it was a huge ask to try and unseat a first-term Prime Minister. It's only been done in 1931, was the last time, obviously. But believe me, this doesn't mean we give up or we back down. We'll just go harder, and we will learn from the mistakes we've made in terms of our campaign. Losing Peter Dutton is a huge loss, and the Liberal Party will determine what the leadership looks like for their party going forward. But we will absolutely learn from what's occurred during this campaign.
Senator Price, it's Bridget Brennan here. I mean, look, by all accounts, this has been a disastrous campaign for you. You're putting it down to the media, but what went wrong from your perspective?
Well, look, I would have to say that certainly we could have provided our policies sooner to the Australian people to have a better understanding of what we wanted to do to support Australians better than what the Albanese government has done. We could have called out his lies earlier on in the piece instead of, later on in the piece. Absolutely, we could have done that. But we will learn more as we go forward as to the mistakes we've made and own those mistakes and make sure that we don't repeat them going forward because ultimately it's how Australia is going to going forward. That's our greatest concern, but it doesn't mean we stop doing what we're doing and fighting on behalf of Australians.
Tell us what you're seeing in Solomon tonight. This seems to be one seat that's bucking the trend, sliding towards the Country Liberal Party tonight.
Yeah, look, I mean, we did see, obviously, in the northern suburbs of Darwin during the territory election, a huge swing. We wiped out Labor in the northern suburbs, and we did have our first Green ever in the Territory Parliament. But, you know, crime's a huge issue right throughout the Northern Territory, and that is one where there was obviously the stabbing death of the shop owner in Nightcliff, you know, just the other week. And those issues, a lot of Territorians are doing it bloody tough, and they're feeling the impacts of things like crime. So, you know, that is why we're getting that swing in terms of Solomon.
All right, Senator Jacinta Nampijinpa-Price, thanks for your time tonight.
All right,
Thank you.